than honorable to meet you and welcome you to God's house. We have always had good relations between Christians and Muslims here. But we want to come closer. We want the Muslim Association to build their mosque next to our church. And that is why we have a fundraising going on since 3 years ago. So we're trying to collect money for these buildings. Most of all, it's very nice, and inspiring, and joyful when you meet. That's what I wanted to introduce to you. So please let us now listen to you.
Thank you so much for the beautiful tour. Your children seems to be very artistic. I saw their work, I took photos, and hopefully day after tomorrow my children will see that as well. So thank you so much for welcoming us and welcoming the Muslim community in the midst of you. Sweden is a beautiful place. I wish I had known Sweden a little before. I came too late in my life. And I arrived yesterday and I said, what is Sweden? So I start Googling it and learning about it, and I keep learning things. But learning things is one thing, meeting people is just amazing. So we believe that God sent all the prophets to establish justice, fairness, and peace. So all the prophets, and we believe prophets were sent to all people at all time. We don't know all the names, but we are required to believe in all of them, whether we know their names or not know their names. And the main mission was peace, justice, fairness, and equity. And that's why God has also told us that we created human beings as one people. It's the people who divided themselves. And God sent prophets to bring them to the path which He wanted them to follow. And we are also told there is no differentiation in people, especially when it came to neighbors and rights of poor and justice. And test of one faith, according to Quranic teaching, is that how good that person is towards other human being. And how they speak up when some people are wrong. Speaking up the truth is something which continuously motivates Muslims. I don't know how many of you know this person. He is one of the famous Muslims in America, Malcolm X. And he strived for freedom, he fought for freedom, and probably he died for freedom as well. And here's my former neighbor. I used to pray in the mosque which he built. And I'm expected to go overseas to help free people in South Vietnam. At the same time, my people here are brutalized. What was happening to African Americans, that struggle continues as Black Lives Matters. And I'm one of the leaders of that movement in a small way. And similarly, undocumented workers from Latin America who are Christians. But probably the worst aspect of oppression at this moment in America are on those people. So that struggle for justice, speaking out against that, continues. So at one time in Europe, as you know, in Bosnia, which I consider to be a genocide, a whole lot of false things were happening. So the Chicago Muslim community came together. So all the mosques came together, and they asked Sound Vision, the organization I established, to establish something called Bosnia Task Force. So first it was coalition of all the mosque and Muslim organization. Then we joined forces with National Organization of Women. Now at one time was very strong, the #1 organization of women in America. But very far left in feminism, if not in ideology, but in feminism. And Muslim, very conservative people. So very conservative people and very feminist on the left had marches in 100 cities in America. So common point was why rape in international law is not a war crime. And I was surprised to find out it's not a war crime. So we came up with the idea and we entered into dialogue. The dialogue went bad. They say, okay, no women with that thing on the head can go on a stage. and thankful for Sweden not to have a law against that thing on the end. So we say, okay, let's have negotiations. So in negotiations, you say, what will be the point? I say, well, outcome I think should be that we will not tell the ladies in the National Organization of Women how they dress on a stage, and they will not tell us how we dress on a stage. So we agreed. So we have 100 demonstration. We have 250,000 people marching in Congress, and not many people knew the Muslim community. So we took the most famous Muslim, Muhammad Ali, and we went to Congress, White House, a bill was passed, 250,000 people, and then it went to the United Nations. And first time in human history and written international law, rape was declared a war crime. It started in the gathering of imams, and mosque put down $50,000, and in $50,000, 250,000 people, a human contribution to the whole civilization. Many people in International Criminal Court have been tried on rape, and now it is being used as a case. But that's international. At the local level, Illinois is a state where I come from. Chicago is in the state of Illinois. And we were 48th worst state when it comes to healthcare. You know, it's not like your countries where everybody is covered in some form of health, people struggle there. And we transformed it in 1 year in the second best state in the United States. How did we do that? Through coalitions. And that we came up with the idea, Muslims came up with the idea, that if not all people, at least have all children covered in some form of insurance if parents cannot afford. So again, the model was mosque came together. They established a Muslim coalition called Council of Islamic Organization of Greater Chicago. And then, in partnership with Catholic Archdiocese, some synagogues and labor union. So labor union, Catholic Archdiocese, and Muslim together form something called United Power. This is a bigger entity, but in United Power, Muslim presented this idea that why healthcare can be only for richer people, and it should be covered. So discussion took place, we adopted, we need to change that, and it took us about 8 to 9 months from our local General Assembly of Illinois. We presented the idea, it was passed from Senate and House, it became a law, and all children in the state of Illinois are covered by law if the parents cannot afford. So this is a local level. So Muslim working in coalition with other people, and our main coalition actually are the coalition which are interfaith coalitions. Interfaith coalition were first coalition. I'm very active in labor movement. Muslim community unfortunately is not active in labor movement by and large, although I'm introducing them, it's not an easy job. Similarly, anti-war movement, Muslims are against war because they are the main victims of war. In last 10 years, 4 million Muslims have died as a result of war. And you who have welcomed refugees in your country, you know they come, large number of refugees come from Muslim countries. So war, terror, and hate are the main cause of problem. So Muslims are against it, but we are not good part of the anti-war coalition. So when I march, most of the time I'm marching with white women, not white men. I don't know why white men are not as much, but white women are part of the anti-war movement. Sometimes I am the only man, and that's how I realize how women feel when they are the only one in the whole gathering. So I'm learning about few things. So, so right now we are quite concerned about genocide in Burma, and that's the reason there is a conference in Stockholm about human rights, and Rohingya people invited me because I chair Burma Task Force USA. How do we work? We get individual people to sign up, and mosque and students, and they are our main force. Through them, we work with interfaith because many mosques are connected with interfaith, a human rights organization, and Christian right. I don't know whether you understand Christian right term. Should I define that? So in America, there are, by and large, those who practice faith among Christians, and 45% of Christians in America say they go to church every at least 3 times a month. Those who go every month or every day are about 25% or so. My numbers could be off by 2-3 points, so don't quote them. This Imam came from America, gave us wrong numbers, so forewarned. So one are mainline churches, Lutheran, Presbyterians, and all that. Then among the Protestants, they are Christian right. I don't want to call them evangelical. In America, evangelical could be both type. You could be mainline churches, or you could. But in America, by and large, in popular culture, right-wing Christians who So when I say Christian right, there is, for example, the Southern Baptist Convention. Anybody heard of that name here? So they are sort of Christian right, and the Trump supporters. Now you understand. So these are Trump supporters.
Yes. Conservative.
By and large. So we work with them because we believe in dialogue. If we talk among only the people who understand each other, it is good. We are developing solidarity. We need to work with each other. But when we are talking, we need to talk to those people who normally don't want to listen. So we have a good dialogue with them. So for this purpose, I sent them to Burma. I funded them to go to Burma, and they learn what is happening there to Christian even. So now they are standing up for Christian, but it serves the same purpose that whatever was happening to Rohingya is happening to Christian now. So these are allies, then interfaith, human rights organization, Christian right, and then Latinos and black partners, as well as women movement. Women movement is very strong. One of the chair of the Women's March, historic Women March, was Muslim women. And on January 19th, God willing, we are going to have a march of at least 2-3 million women. It's already being planned, and I am offering Chicago people 50 buses. I'll pay half of it if you pay half of it, to send people to Washington, D.C. So with that projection, grassroots campaign, we have Canada. Burma Task Force is in Canada and USA. Canada has declared it a genocide, and they were giving $10 million because of our effort. Now it has given $380 million to refugees. US has given $360 million. So grassroots efforts, developing coalition and working together, achieving results for all people. Okay, this is the same thing because we have a lobbying firm and a PR firm, which Muslims hire, but it works for all people there.
That's it. The vision is soon.
Oh, God's house.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
Yes, it is.
Wow. So now I know Swedish.
Yeah. Thank you so much. God bless you in your work.
Thank you.